Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? It's your girl Jamila Nunez, and I'm your host for our special series called Being Black. In this podcast series, we are going over Black owners, Black businesses, Black artists, Black community members, anything Black, anyone Black, any being Black, all in San Diego, just to speak our truths, our experiences, our opinions, and our perspective in regards to the local San Diego community, but also in regards to today's society. So if you like what you hear, please share each episode, which one you like the most, whatever you'd like. And if you feel like you want to interview and get your voice out there, please reach out to us. All of our information will be in each episode detail. And yes, hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Just wanted to make sure live connection. Are we still waiting for
Alyssa, yeah,
another?
she'll be joining.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure. How are you?
Good. And who is this that I'm speaking with? Sorry. It's just like I don't know
This
your voice.
is no. This is Jamila. I'm
Okay.
doing most of the interviews for the podcast series, and then Nicole will be hosting our other one coming soon. But yes, it'll be called the Brown Being Brown in San Diego. So yeah, we're just waiting.
Well,
Hello.
okay,
I
cool.
made it in.
Yay. This is good. I haven't done it with two people joining in, so this is gonna be like a really great experience only because I want to validate that this app supports it in a
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
great way. So can everybody hear each other perfectly and clearly?
Yeah,
I
I
can
can hear both of you.
hmm Yeah, I can hear both of you too, and I have my ear pods on.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, same.
So I think for this to be most effective, I would state like who's speaking, so the audience can understand, who's responding in regards to the episode and the question. Um, yeah, so just say this is Alyssa, and or this is Tony,
Mm-hmm.
just so that we can be understand who's saying what in regards to the question. Um, but how are we doing, ladies? How's your Friday? How was your week?
It's
So far,
good.
so good. I'm getting ready to open a show tonight, so I'm like I have a very excited energy. So I'm feeling very excited.
Oh, nice. Okay. And what is this show in regard to?
So I'm a choreographer in San Diego, and so I choreographed a musical called Songs for a New World,
Oh,
and so yeah, that's the project that is premiering tonight.
wow. And you said yes to the interview for today. I appreciate you just squeezing this in.
Yeah, well, we're like me and Tony. We're part of many groups, and Soultry Sisters is our sister passion project. So we always try to find different times to like make it work. And she's in DC, so 4:30 is 7:30 for her. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
why it's like we just have to make it, get it in where we can fit it in.
yes.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my good. And Tony, how are you?
Good. Yeah, it's been a long, well, short week technically, but long of the list of things to do. And the weekend, I work usually during different wellness projects, either Soultry or I'm a part of another one called Vinyl Vinyasa. So we have an event this weekend. So it's fun, but it's also things to do. So yeah.
Yes, energy being consumed at the end
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
day.
Hi,
yeah.
Okay.
But
how are
yeah, thanks
you?
for yeah.
I'm good. I honestly just woke up from a nap. It's been a week. So I've been trying to fit in some rest time, some recharge time in order to hold space in these interviews and also within myself and just going through personal changes. And also business wise, we have a lot of events coming up this year, so I'm just trying to I tend to spread myself thin without realizing. So
Mhm.
I'm doing pretty good though. You know, I allowed myself to take a nap. So that's the important
Oh,
part.
yes.
Oh my goodness. But
Nice.
I feel great. I have an event to go to after another interview, after you guys. So I'm really just finding time to be present and showing up in the community when it counts, you know,
Right.
or when I
Mm-hmm.
am able to, because outside of that, we're busy women, right? We have things to do. We have moves to make, plans to execute. So being able to attend events just as a community member is just, it's going to feel great. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for asking how I am. In regards to the interview, I want you both kind of just to tell us about who you are, your name, where you're from, and how you apply in today's society. And we'll go from there after I get kind of both of your responses. So whoever wants to start,
Okay.
Alyssa, we can start with Alyssa, and then Toni can go in.
Okay. Well,
Perfect.
one, I wanted to make a note before we start. You sent us the questions and everything, and we were
Yeah.
just wondering if we're able to, like, through this conversation, kind of tailor it to, like, like arts and wellness community too in San Diego, so not as broad, to kind of hone in on some of those elements too, how that's unique experience. Is that okay?
Yes, so I'm not sure which one was sent, but we go into questions about mental health as a Black person in San Diego in today's society. So that is something that we will touch base on later on, and
Mhm.
then also about your actions and how you are showing up in the community for the future generation. So we go into depth. So don't worry,
Mhm.
we will be touching base on that, and but most of all, we kind of want to pave the way for the generations, um, in regards to just experiencing being a Black person in San Diego, because I am mixed as well. So I have my questions on who else has had struggles as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But also empowering the Black community within arts, within wellness, but as a whole in general. Extinguished and want to kind of unite as a collective to stand community, being mixed, being brown, being Asian, you know, being all different types, still trying to uplift all of us as one. Um, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where I'm starting at right now. But yeah, so we'll definitely be going into that.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, just go ahead and just introduce yourself, how you got, you know, into the position you are today, and
Okay.
we'll start moving forward.
Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Alyssa Junious. People also know me as AJ, and I am from San Diego, California, specifically Oceanside. And how I identify in today's society, I identify as a Black and Filipino woman. I also identify as an artist, a movement healer, and wellness advocate.
Nice. Tony.
And hi everyone, I'm Toni, and I'm from Oceanside as well. And I identify as a Black and Filipino woman. I identify as a healer, as a wellness practitioner, and just as a community connector and someone who just really loves giving back to my community, and especially through arts and wellness things. Yeah.
Perfect. So, what is your story? What was your upbringing like? So, your childhood, your household, your education and schooling.
Yeah, so I can start. I'm the older sister. So Tony and I are sisters, we're biological sisters. And our childhood, we are both daughters of military veterans. So we grew up moving around to different places and countries. There's just two of us, and we have our mother and father. And we grew up going to different schools. So that's a very loaded question for us because we grew up in various communities and countries.
Okay. And that's totally fine. I guess we can kind of talk about In a sense, how has your environment impacted you, and which environment impacted you the most into who you are today? How it shaped you, little things on as well.
Yeah, I guess something that comes to mind for me, this is Tony. I would say that because we moved around so often growing up, that community and like making meaningful connections and maintaining those friendships became really important for us. Like, still my close friends from like middle school, since we're all like military families, we're still really close. And like my roommate is one of my best friends from like middle school still till today. And even some of the first like best friends I had, even though we moved across the country and stuff, we still have kept in touch over the years. So I feel like that's what's interesting being like a military kid growing up is it's like we value our connections and our friendships and relationships really highly. And that's also what kind of inspired us to create Soultry Sisters was that need for connection, community. Like many of our community members are either active duty in the military themselves, veterans, or dependents and family members of military. So I feel like that's a common thread that our environment has shaped us, and we're like when we find a community that we feel connected to, that we really want to build that up and keep that strong.
Nice. I like that. I really do like that. Alyssa, did you wanted to add anything in regards to that as well?
I just wanted to chime in and say, like, as Tony and I, we have both been friends with some of our best friends since we were a young age. So my best friend I met when I was 2 years old. Both of our parents were in the military, and we're still friends to this day. And she's also mixed and biracial, so it was a mixture of cultures. I say our child were exposed to cultures, a lot of different ways of life because we grew up as military children. So I specifically when I we were in Japan, I was 5 to 9 years old. So I spent a big part of my elementary school age country. So I feel like that's real because I was in because I was living in Japan. Really, yeah, I would say our environments definitely play a role. Our dad is from Houston, Texas, so that Southern hospitality is definitely a part of our upbringing. Like making sure everyone is comfortable, and like our mother is Filipina, and so a lot of our cultures come together. And so I think through moving around and witnessing our family instill not only our family's values, but also welcoming in new culture values. For instance, in Japan, they do certain things different ways. And we really leaned into the the experience of having a new environment, which is different from people who like stay in their same state or neighborhood all their lives. So I definitely feel like Tony and I have a different perspective or even a different attitude towards change because we
Hmm.
had to change our environment every like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like another thing I wanted to um, add to that. What Alyssa just shared was, yeah, growing up, since we had to change our environment, change our schools, our friends, our extracurricular activities every like 3 years, like it's hard growing up, right? But I feel like as an adult, I have an appreciation for that upbringing and my childhood experiences because like going to college or like after college, I moved to Guam and then now I moved to DC like 3 years ago. Like it's easier for me now because I'm like, one, I'm making that willing choice now as an adult, but also I knew that, oh, when we were growing up, like it all worked out eventually, right? We found new friends, we found a dance studio where we were able to like do the things that, felt helped us feel grounded. So, yeah, that change is not so scary to me, which, yeah, is different for certain people that I've met as an adult. They're like, how do you move to like new places where you know nobody at all? And I'm like, well, I've had to do that before. So that's
Right.
a unique experience.
Hmm.
And then I think also with our parents, they had moved away from their hometowns when they were young as well. Like our mom immigrated here from the Philippines when she was in her 20s, and then our dad left Houston and joined the military when he was also in his like after high school. So
Mm-hmm.
they kind of raised us as well, that like home is wherever, the home you create with your own community, like your friends, your chosen family. And then you also have an appreciation for like your hometown where you were raised and things like that. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that was a different perspective too. Like our parents valued like choosing your environment and choosing like where you call home. It's not just where you grew up.
Right. I like that. That's so beautiful. In regards to that, I'm going to jump down a little bit the questionnaire when it goes to privileges. So, do you feel like you both have that privilege that others don't have in regards to being a, biracial or Black women in society of today?
I feel like the privilege, if I were to put privilege on top of being mixed and
Mm-hmm.
biracial, is we've had a inside privilege to see how bringing two cultures together is a beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's it, it's it, it's not as deep as people make it think. Like to see our parents never even talked too heavily about it. So later on, when we got older and we're considering dating or even making new friends, accommodating someone for their religion or their personal preferences or cultural preferences was something that wasn't too hard to do because we saw our parents navigating that, like how they lived, different types of cultural lives and seeing them negotiate that. So we lived in a house where, you know, talking about how we want to do practice certain holidays or even like different foods coming together. It was always like a conversation around like
Mm-hmm.
the difference between the two versus like some people make it think some people may assume being mixed could be hard, but I think it was harder outside the home versus inside for us because we
Mm-hmm.
also biracial with like Black and Filipina, not black and white. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's that's a different dynamic in the home, I assume.
Yeah.
So for us, I can speak for myself, Alyssa, I felt most challenged outside of my home versus inside.
Mm. And
Yeah,
Tony?
yeah. I would say I feel similarly to Alyssa. Yeah, like I think growing up, like our parents, they loved each other. They loved and embraced each other's cultures. Like my dad, knows a little bit Tagalog. Like my mom knows how to cook soul food. Like the cultural exchange within our house and within our both families on our extended sides was welcoming, I feel like. And so that was interesting because growing up, yeah, it was more comments from other people outside who just didn't understand. They'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, "How is that your mom?" Right? Or like just different comments that just people really just, being ignorant and not knowing. But growing up, I'd be like, well, that's just my mom, or I just eat, sinigang, like that's just what we do. Or like in our house, like we take our shoes off, right? Because we're an Asian Filipino household. And so yeah, like we grew up with both, and so I feel like it is a privilege to have both cultures. Like I love it. Like I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love being Black and Filipina, and I personally have had a journey with my identity for different years. Like I used to heavily identify as like mixed, and I feel like because there is some sort of societal privilege of like even that word mix, right? You're not just
Mm-hmm.
one thing. But now I identify more as both of them. So I explicitly say Black and Filipina. I don't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
say mix because I'm not just a mix of things, right? I'm a Black woman and I am a Filipino woman that has two very distinct experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I do acknowledge that there are privileges like colorism and things like that, but also being Black and Asian, it's like maybe a privilege in one, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
colorism as the color of our skin could be seen as a positive thing in the Black community, but then in our Filipino community, then there's negative connotations to our skin color, and then
Mm.
there's like wanting like skin lightening creams and things like growing up from some of our family members, and it's like
Oh wow.
what? So that's kind of conflicting too as like growing up both
Yeah,
cultures. It's like in one
it's
one of our cultures it's a good thing and one of cultures it's bad, so that's kind of hard. It was hard growing up, but as I became like older, I've gone through, yeah, my own identity journey, and I feel more comfortable with those things now. Um, but yeah, it is very interesting being mixed with two cultures of color,
Mm-hmm.
and not one that's white. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I like that. I like that response. That kind of touches base on why I'm starting this special series, because I am Black, Mexican, and Native American, and we are believed to have some Puerto Rican and Cubano inside of us as well. So I'm very strong in the Black and Brown community, but I've also faced struggles within the Brown community, in not being fully brown. So
Mm-hmm.
even that colorism is a thing. It's like, oh well, your hair isn't like, the silky wavy, very long, it's very big and curly. But in the Black community, they're like, oh, you're Mexican and you have this beautiful pretty hair, and this dialogue and this, so it came as like a plus, like a bonus, like, oh wow, she's not Black, so that touches a
Hmm.
little bit base as why I started it. So thank you for sharing that part in regards to like the Asian community, where it's like lightening skin cream. Like I was like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
what? they said what?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and it wasn't always overt. Like sometimes it's
mhm,
like the subtle, like in Filipino culture, there's like papaya soap that's very common to use
mhm,
because it essentially brightens your skin or evens out your skin tone, right? But if you use
mhm,
it every day, then it can be used as like a lightening type of skin treatment. But so
mhm,
growing up, I didn't necessarily overtly know, oh, they're saying my skin is dark, but it's just like, oh, all of them, my Filipino family members are saying like, oh, I don't want to go in the sun because I don't want to get darker, or oh, I have to use the papaya soap to make sure, my tan
Mm-hmm.
doesn't stay.
Right.
And it's like normal for them to say that. And then it's not until I got older that I was like, oh, those messaging that they're saying, it did like slowly internalize where I'm like, oh, well, if you're not even as brown as me and you don't want to get more brown, then like, what
mhm.
does that mean about my brown? Right. So it's like,
Yeah,
it wasn't always so overt, but it was like after a while, you're like, wait, what does this
yeah.
actually mean? Yeah.
Nice.
It's like our, sorry, I don't mean
No,
to
you're
interrupt.
good. No, you're fine.
It's so to further explain that, it's like our own, due to colonialism to Filipinos, colorism has been embedded in them. So it's like the anti-blackness of it all. They without knowing, they don't even realize that they've internalized a concept that then further promotes anti-blackness. And even though
Mhm,
they love us and they're giving us soap to bathe ourselves and lotion to moisturize our skin, the fact that it has bleach, it's embedded in the culture. So a lot in Asian culture, colorism is embedded to be normalized as beauty care.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
Like, oh, I'm gonna give myself a facial, like really microdermabrasion. You're taking, so it's like it's so like I just want to further emphasize like when it comes to that awareness, like as we're
mhm,
getting older, you see how insidious anti-blackness can be in communities of color.
mhm. Thank you. Thank you for further clarifying and kind of going into a little bit of depth about that for our audience members too, just so that they have an understanding that it's not like, oh, we don't like them because, we don't want them to be
Yeah.
Black. We don't want them to be a certain shade of color. Like, no, it goes deeper, and it could be on the
Hmm.
subconscious
Mm-hmm.
level as well that they're taking it and not realizing. So thank you for like
Yeah.
kind of clarifying that. It's truly appreciated. And so, and with all of this being said as well, when it comes to say that you get a handful of only Black um, like children and youth, how would you go about um, those who don't have that privilege of having both parents and having to learn how to maneuver through this world, with a single mother or a single father or none, and they have an auntie or an uncle that's taking care of them. How would you kind of help maneuver this child or these children within society to be this great influence in this world? Like, how would you go about it? Those mental health issues, striving, going through with abandonment or
Yeah.
feelings of unworthiness, and
I,
other traumas that they may have experienced.
I have a friend who has um I have many friends that have kids of mixed race. I don't have a child. I have a fur baby. So
Oh.
um but I have been asked by friends who who are single mothers, who are single parents, and their kids are mixed race, and they have asked me that question, like, how do I, expose them? How do I support them if I'm not from the other person's culture? And so I use an analogy, since I'm an artist and a theater-based artist. I'm like, well, how do you associate your child with going to the museum, going to the art show, going to the library? You take them and you teach them those practices. So teaching a cultural practice doesn't mean you have to be from it.
Mhm.
You can definitely find resources and immerse yourself with that culture. So just like, for instance, like me being an artist and promoting arts education and arts literacy, I would advise a parent to take your child to go see a dance show or go see a theater play. So if your kid is from another culture, there's resources in San Diego to to different cultural clubs and go to their events. Like, for instance, for Filipinos, there's a group called Pasakat. So if somebody has a child that is half Filipino, but the parent is like white or black and they want to expose their kid, I would advise getting them involved in a cultural club. And that way, the ancestral elders of that culture can can provide that cultural experience through the practice of communal, like, um, taking classes in that culture, taking, just communing. So it's not as deep as people might think, but it's just like it goes back to community, just like family. Like, if you're a single parent,
Mhm.
we lean on our friends, we lean on our communities like church or school. So the same thing can go for culture. Like, affiliate yourself, align yourself with a club of that culture, just like you would for being, from a certain religion. You go to that church. So I that's my advice I give, because sometimes if you're not from that culture, there's certain things you can't understand. You can't mentor your child when it comes to certain identities, because you can only do so much. And I think it's important for parents to just provide that enrichment, just like our parents enriched us with taking, like, swimming lessons, even though they don't swim, or like drawing classes, even though they don't draw, or musical instruments. Like, enrichment can come also by exposing them to cultural practices. So I would say that would be my advice, because through that enrichment, for me, I felt like it was helpful when I think about the art and other forms that have helped me.
Yeah, I would also share that what would be helpful is like really just, yeah, like Alyssa said, finding your communities. So yeah, if it's a young Black person who is wanting to find other people that are, from their culture or that look like them. So yeah, try to go out and find, like, clubs of, let's say they're interested in orchestra. So like maybe like a Black violin club, or
Mhm.
different things that they're into and interested in, to go
And a
find,
teacher.
people, yeah, people that look like them, um, who can, share some of that insight. And yeah, like if they're going to those types of communities, then they would maybe find like a mentor or an older adult person that can also share some insight and answer their questions if they're curious. And I would say now the kids growing up, I mean, in my opinion, I feel like maybe it's more helpful because they have the internet and social media, that they could go on and find, like, hey, I'm interested in, curly girls meetup in Oceanside, right? Like, I want to find curly headed Black girls that look like me. It's, in my opinion, a little bit easier nowadays because you can just find it online,
Mhm.
and then kind of lower stakes, see if, like, join an online event, join an Instagram live or something, right? And see, okay, these people seem cool or they seem interesting, and then maybe meet in person. Versus, I feel like when I was growing up, you had to just kind of figure out who's in proximity to you, which might not have always been the most helpful or supportive. So I feel like now with the internet, that can be helpful for kids, obviously, if they use it, smartly. But if they do that in a way that's intentional, that can be a way to find community. Like, that's how I find community a lot. Like, when I moved out here to DC, I really wanted to be surrounded by Black folks, and that's what I did. A lot of my very close friends out here and in my grad program were Black. And that was awesome for me to have that experience. And I intentionally sought that out and joined like school student organizations for like Black students. And I would go to different meetups for like Black professionals and things like that. So even obviously like kids, it's great to do that when you're young, but even as an adult, like I said, my identity journey has been different in different parts of my life and it's ongoing. So even now as an adult, I'm like curious of like, okay, these places, I'm like, okay, I want to be around Black people or I want to find, more Filipinos, like just different parts of my identity, right? I have found community and found places to feel not so alone and to feel supported.
Nice. Yeah, and your guys' responses are just like, yes, like come through. I love the transparency and the honesty that you both bring. It really sheds a light and like, again, it's paving ways for those who may have struggled, finding their identity, accepting their identity, and just trying to understand who they are. So you both giving your responses in such a very confident manner really does allow for others to be aware and accept, just coming to terms with who they are and flourishing from there. So again, your responses are just everything to me right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So when did you both end up residing and living in San Diego? And what are your thoughts about San Diego?
So we were both born in San Diego. This is
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa.
Okay.
We were both born in at Balboa Hospital. So as far as like being residing, we reside since the tender age of being born, newborn. um, but and then we returned. We lived in DC for a while and returned. I can't remember what grade you were in, Toni, but I know that I was a sophomore in high school.
Mhm.
And then from there, we were in San Diego. And then after graduating college, fun fact, Toni and I both went to UC Irvine in Orange County. And I've been back ever since. So I've been working as a professional artist here in San Diego for like a little bit over 10 years. So I've been here for a minute as an adult. But
Yeah.
childhood, we kind of were ping ponging here and there.
Yeah, and then so after high school, we both also went to Oceanside High School up in North County, San Diego. Go Pirates! And then, yeah, I went to college, and then I was in Guam for 2 years after undergrad, and then I came back to California in 2018 to 2019. And then I moved to DC for the last 3 years. So I am the Soultry sister that has been away from San Diego most of the time, but I come home around twice a year and I'll be home for like an extended time usually when I'm there. So San Diego is still my home, but I do ping pong around and go travel a lot or move. But yeah, we are very familiar with San Diego, and our parents, essentially are like retiring out there and things like that too. And our
Yeah.
mom's extended side of the family all live in San Diego.
Okay, nice. And so, would you say that you mainly operate out of Northern County, San Diego, and how do you kind of connect the communities with Central San Diego and and more so Southern County as well? Like, how do you have ties? Like, how do you like do you plan to reach out, more down here and providing your service in our area as well? Because I'm in mid city San Diego, so City Heights,
Mm.
North Park.
Mm.
And so like connecting the ties and getting all the communities together as San Diego overall. How do you guys ladies move about that?
Yeah, we actually, before the pandemic, like 2019, so I have a dance company called Continuum, and my company is
Mm-hmm.
called Continuum Arts and Pilates. And before we started Soultry Sisters, or during, it all happens at the same time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Toni and I were. Hold on, I'm getting all mixed up now. But what I'm trying to say is, I used to teach at Movement Dance Center, which is now called Levy. And so
Mm-hmm.
I used to teach classes down there all the time. So I was always down in San Diego. I danced for a contemporary company for like 6+ years down in Old Town. And I performed down in San Diego as a musical theater artist. So definitely professionally and communally in the arts community, I'm very present in
Mm-hmm.
San Diego. I'm also a part of Rising Arts Leaders, which is based in central San Diego. So as far as being an artist and a wellness practitioner, we're definitely present in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Soultry Sisters last year, we collaborated with Mingay Museum in Balboa Park.
Mm-hmm.
We also have hosted like hikes in Balboa. So although we rock hard for Oceanside, we're all about bringing arts and wellness to North County. We've spent
Mm-hmm.
a good portion of our time not only performing in Greater San Diego, but also advocating for arts and wellness.
Yeah, so we're very familiar with all of San Diego, but like our mission with Soultry Sisters, like why we started was because many of the arts and wellness events or outreach programs, enrichment programs are actually more so centralized in more of south of San Diego. So North
Mm-hmm.
County, in our opinion, does not have as many accessible and affordable arts and wellness programs, especially for people of color, women of color. Usually we have to drive down to like North Park or different areas, and gas is expensive, right? That's a whole
Mm-hmm.
privilege to be able to commute to do these health and wellness events. So that was really at the root of why we started Soultry, and we specifically um, hone in on our hometown area of Oceanside and North County because
Mm-hmm.
there is that lack of the arts and wellness resources up here that we felt, and we wanted to give back to our community. We were like, we deserve it up here too. Like we shouldn't have to
Mm-hmm.
drive down, or we shouldn't have to feel that like it can't be here in our own backyard, right? So
Right.
that's why we thought it's
Yeah.
important. And especially Oceanside specifically is a very diverse community because we're right there by the military base, Camp Pendleton. And
Mm-hmm.
so, there's different kids that look like us. We grew up with people who look like us, who are brown, black, right? But there wasn't always like arts and wellness programs. Like there's a lot of like sports things or other things, but we felt like specifically things that talk about soul care, sustainability, how to take care of yourself, those types of things we felt there wasn't enough of in North County.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially like when we think about North County compared to um, Greater San Diego County is predominantly white.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the reason why we emphasize being arts and wellness leaders up here is because we want to kind of send the alert to folks who up here might feel like there's not enough of them being represented
Mm-hmm.
to see us. And we've had events where people's like, I didn't realize y'all were up here, like,
Mm-hmm.
or I didn't, they just it's just so up here it's very very much predominantly white and very much predominantly tailored to more like high end or high ticket pricing events. So it's not that we're filling a need up here. There is
Mm-hmm.
definitely a lack
Mm-hmm.
of representation, a lack of diversity, and a lack of affordability and accessibility, especially in Oceanside right now, what's going on with the upgrades and gentrification. So we really work and intentionally want to make space and make it known that we are here. We've been here. Like it's not like a new thing.
Right.
We're just trying to remind folks that like we have a diverse community. It's just a matter of, do you see us?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that because I spent majority of my life in we have family in Oceanside, so every holiday we were up in Oceanside, right off Mission Boulevard, and so
Mm-hmm.
we see that, again, my family's Black and Mexican, so going up there we more so in the Mexican area, to put it there, but we also saw outside of that there are certain privileges, so certain cultural differences, and I can truthfully say that the arts and wellness is definitely needed up there, for the children of of the future generations and the current generations of having that access to art and being able to creatively express themselves in a way to where it's not turning into um, criminal activity, you know, or violence or
Mm-hmm.
gang affiliation. And so I can definitely vouch for that. And I'd love to try, you know, in the future to work something with you guys to bring people from down here up there, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
exposing that as well. So I think that's wonderful what you ladies are doing, because we have a lot of access down here when it comes to arts and, you know, dancing, being able to do singing and events and poets and spoken word, you know, so we have that
Mm-hmm.
accessibility here. So I do see where you ladies are coming from in regards to improving the arts and wellness up there. Like I didn't really have that much of awareness of it, but when you guys were speaking about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like
Yeah.
it's not really there, you know.
Yeah, if you
So
look at
Yeah.
all the Black and brown arts and wellness leaders, if you like look up their location, it is not up here. It's
no.
it's
Yeah.
few and far between, and that's why like
Yeah.
we like when Tony was back here in 2018, like we were going to a lot of events like in the City Heights area, like right there at Malcolm X Library. We did things with
Mm-hmm.
like Natasha of Artist Building Community, and so we were like, this is so great. Why don't we have something up here? And so like
Yeah.
that's why our mission. So that's why finally this year we were able to host something at our hometown library of Oceanside. So we saw the models in Southeast San Diego, and we
Hmm.
saw the need in North County. So we're like almost um in at we're inspired by all the movement and the movers and shakers in San Diego making it happen in their neighborhoods, that we're
Hmm.
taking that and we're making that happen here up in Oceanside. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like we are in community with folks who are arts and wellness leaders down there, and we are taking that data, taking those programmings and pitching them up here because
Hmm.
although like you know not people that we're trying to serve don't always have the gas money or the car transportation to even
Hmm.
drive up the five like that. So
Yeah.
for us, the
Yeah.
reality is like it'll be great. Like we can transport, we can do a event like down there and up here, but like the people up here, they can't always come down there. So we that kind of became a reality for us with why we grounded ourselves down, not because we don't want to go down south, but because we know
Hmm.
that there's already a population being served. We're up here, like it's like it ain't really happening.
Yeah. And also up in North County, San Diego, because of Camp Pendleton and the military presence, like we said, our upbringing, we feel for, the military youth, and also just like the wives and, the partners of people in the military, because we also have adults who meet us and they're like, wow, I'm so glad you guys have this community because like I'm looking for, meaningful relationships. I'm looking for community. I just moved here from overseas or wherever, right? And so that is for us a unique need that's in North County as well, like the military families. And also, we call ourselves an Arts and Wellness Collective because there are Black and Brown people in North County, of course, doing amazing things, but a lot of people are doing it individually in silos. And we wanted a collective so we can bring people together because, right, as a community, if we go together, we go further. So that's really at the root of what we do as well. A core value is community and bringing people together and connecting. So we'll meet people if we just go to like the arts walk by the library. We'll meet people who are vending, and then we'll be like, "Hey, do you want to come be a part of our event?" And then that's how we build that community, and then are able to uplift them and bring them visibility, and they're able to enrich us in our community and what we do. So we're really about building those connections because we're not saying that there's like no one here doing anything. It's just kind of siloed. And
Yeah.
then also the programs here, there are programs for like Black and Brown youth and people, but who's leading those or who's funding those tend to be white or
Hmm.
non-Black, non-Brown people. So that was important for us too, to be the leaders of this space because we know we've grown up in Oceanside. We are Black and Filipino women, so we know what our community needs more so than like a white person who grew
Hmm.
up here, right? So that was why too, because we have like our specific lived experience. We felt like that is helpful for like what we're creating, And it's been great. The last 3 years, we've been able to, like Alyssa said, make connections with the Oceanside Library, which we grew up like getting books during the summer to do like the book like challenges. And then with Soultry now we do like a book club each year. So things that we've grown up doing like in North County, then we emulate that with Soultry Sisters and remix it in our own way. And then we've partnered with like Hill Street Country Club and Oceanside and different other organizations as well. And especially like we love partnering with women-led businesses in North County as well to promote, just buying local and that kind of circular economy as well. So we don't always just think of the big orgs, but we also are really we really strive to support like people like us who are just doing their thing to uplift their own communities.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. You both are providing so much, and it takes a village to really allow this to be successful and for it to move in the way that you want. And I just want to put out there, I heard different podcasts, and then I also started following you. So I was just like, I see you. I see what they're doing, and I'm in full support. And me moving back, like I was in the Bay Area, so me moving back, I'm like, where do I start? Like everything is so different. And I'm glad that the arts has kind of been uplifting in San Diego. The wellness needs to start lifting up too, in our communities to be able to have this access. And so you both are really doing something very powerful. And I would love to work with you both as well. And so we can really make this thing like just push even more. I feel like, again, there are, white companies that are trying to push wellness, and I can see that it's only accessible to a certain amount of people, I would say. And so being able to collectively this movement overall within all different races and cultural backgrounds will be amazing. And so how it's the question of how. I think that simple interviews and talking about certain things, and then holding a showcase and put expanding what's happening down here to go all the way to the borderline end of the borderline Northern County. Like
Yeah.
I think it's very crucial. It's very necessary too, because we are living a life on a media right now. And once people start coming back into reality and getting out of that survival mode, they're going to need this, I feel. And so establishing the roots and making sure that they're strong, I think it's going to be very beneficial, and it's going to pay off. Everything you're doing, everyone sees it. I see. I don't know if it was Alyssa or Toni, but that said they had Continuum.
Oh, Alyssa.
Alyssa. Okay, so I seen it was one video. I don't remember what it was. You guys were doing a rehearsal. And I think
Oh, yes.
it was for the show maybe that you're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure. But I was like, wait, what? There's some hip hop going on too. So just to see that you have this versatility, it's so great. Honestly, like I'm excited to see how we can move together too. I think it's very important, and it helps me being able to work with other biracial women who are wanting the same thing. And my business partner Nicole, she couldn't make it today, but she's fully Hispanic. And so being able to work with different cultures and with the same mission, I think I don't I'm so excited, there's no words. I feel like I keep saying the same thing.
No, we really appreciate you, sharing like how you've met us, what you've witnessed, that you see us, and we're excited to learn more about you. Welcome back to San Diego.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And and we also want to applaud you for because the same thing for us, like we created Soultry Sisters to make space another space to bring arts and wellness together. And we always encourage folks to continue to create those spaces for themselves and for folks in their community. And as like we think of community as like a ripple. There's like
Mm-hmm.
us, our family, our friends, our interpersonal relationships, then our neighborhood, then our city, then our
Mm-hmm.
state. So it's important for all of us to be making space for not only each other but ourselves. And I also wanted to share that our summer solstice, this that we're having it at the end of June, is a celebration of bringing a bunch of artists and wellness in Greater San Diego. We have people like, Iana Rivera. We have Kelsey Daniels, Geminelle Rollins. We have Olofa Gold. So these are all like different artists, BJ Robinson. I'm just naming a few, but these are people that we've met along our journey of going to different wellness events and then connecting. And then a part of the celebration is bringing those people that inspired us and sharing them with our community of North County. So they are coming down from Southeast San Diego. They are coming from Chula Vista, LA, or even
Mm-hmm.
East County, Ramona. So we're
Oh,
really
wow.
trying to, with this festival, like you said, kind of bring people from their different wellness communities for this festival. So we're going we're that so what you're saying, like going back to your original question about like how are we connecting, like this
Mm-hmm.
festival is how we are manifesting that greater community and celebrating like what each person is doing for themselves and how each person has been able to facilitate that collective healing with their own businesses, with their own communities, and we're inviting them into to North County to one of our favorite crystal shopping venues to celebrate that. Like our summer solstice theme is the celebration of self. 2 years we've been like separated virtually, and we just want to celebrate the fact that we've been able to stay connected, even though Tony's in DC, even
Mm-hmm.
though some of our partners are down in San Diego, up in LA, or East County. We're using this event to celebrate that connection and then invite more people to become a part of our community. It's almost like a house party, but it's about arts and
Yes.
wellness. And
Yeah. And with our festival, we were really intentional about those guest artists like Alyssa had named and mentioned, and us highlighting, BIPOC creatives, healers, wellness practitioners from all over was really special for us. So we can like, increase that visibility of like the work that they do because we love being in community with them and their offerings. So we wanted to bring that to our festival, and also still at the core of what we do at Soultry Sisters is to make it affordable and accessible. So we also have special pricing for BIPOC folks. So if you check
Mm-hmm.
out our website, SoultrySisters.com, you'll see on there that we have sliding scale tickets for everyone, and then BIPOC folks can then have there's a special discount code that they'll apply to get a percentage off even lower than the sliding scale. So even though we're doing this like bigger scale event than we've done before, still at our core is like we still want our own community to be able to attend.
Yeah.
We want people to be able to come. And we also have a scholarship fund. So we have a Sultry community fund that people who are feeling abundant have been donating to. And so also if there's any listeners there or people in your community who want to come but right now aren't don't have the financial support to do so, well, that's why we have our donations. So then if they apply for the scholarship, then we will be able to gift them a entry to the festival. So even though we're like scaling up ourselves as a collective, we still have at the core to make sure it's accessible to our community.
That is beautiful. I love the fact that I'm going to highlight that the reason why they take donations to help have better pricing for those who cannot afford to attend these kind of events, and that's very, very
Hmm.
crucial and important being in San Diego and overall California. Everything is so
Hmm.
expensive, and I admire that so much because I feel the same way. I want to offer everything for free, and it's
Hmm.
just like realistically speaking, it's like, okay, how how can I do that?
Hmm.
And that's amazing, and I love that you guys are utilizing the people who are feeling abundant and wanting to support in different ways, even if it's not showing up, to financially support those in the community who can't afford it. And that's just so beautiful. And thank you for at least putting that out there so that people know that there are ways for you to attend these, events. You don't always
Mhm.
have to come out of pocket and go into depth to attend these events,
Mhm.
and I really respect that about you two ladies for having that special pricing and that option in these programs and these scholarships. That's very important, and I think it's wonderful, honestly.
Thank you. I mean, that's also want to point out we do our Soultry hangouts like
Hmm.
every week. Well, we try to on Sunday. So that's like a way to interact with us. And then we do our Step and Stride challenge where we welcome our community to walk with us. So we're always thinking about creative ways to stay connected and be affordable so that, when you do have the funds, you can um buy a ticket, but also so it's usually hard for people to ask for help if they don't know you. Like, it's hard for
Hmm.
people to say like, "Hey, I want to come, but I don't have the money." So we try to create ways to connect with our community so that they feel comfortable making that ask. And
Hmm.
then people who have received that support, when they feel abundant, they feel comfortable paying it forward by, "Hey, I'm going to pay for 2 tickets this time because y'all helped me one time. I'm going to help someone this time." So we really try to create a culture of reciprocity. We
Hmm.
always know it's going to come back.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes, we have an abundance mindset at Soultree, and also, I think Jamila, you mentioned earlier that, well, Alyssa with Continuum, you're saying that she's so versatile, right? Which is
Hmm.
amazing, and with Soultree as well, we have that energy of versatility, and we just have an abundance of things that we love, honestly, and that's what we like to give back to our community. So also for those that will join us at our festival this June, you'll be able to experience that because we have like creative expression workshops, then we'll have movement sessions. So we'll have like yoga, Pilates. We're doing something called Soulscape, which is like mindful movement, mantras, meditation, and kind of like a mini dance party.
Hmm.
Um, and then we have like a live DJ where we can dance. And so we do love to always bring the different elements of us into our work as Soultree. And we like to share that with our community members too, because even Alyssa and I, throughout our journeys, we haven't had just one thing that we loved, right? We do
Hmm.
everything. Like I also am a dancer, and whenever I'm in town, we'll perform with Continuum,
Yes.
Alyssa's company. And so we're always like just doing things that we're interested in, pursuing what we're curious in, and that's what we bring for Soultree, and that's what we hope people take away from our events and the things that they come to with us is that like you don't have to just choose one thing to do. I feel like that's what society tells us when we're young. Is like, what are you going to be when you grow up, and then you just have to
Hmm.
do that one thing. But for us, it's I guess cultivating that kind of like inner child of like, oh, we want to do a craft where we like make something out of rice and socks, or we want to do a session where we're like dancing and shaking our butts until we sweat. Like it's honestly just like whatever feels good, and that's what soul care is for us too. Um, it's just doing whatever you feels good for you to take care of your mind, body, and soul, which is very important for us. So um, I wanted to share that because it's like although we've been talking a lot about like I guess the general things that we do, a lot of the times it's much more simple. Like we just do things that feel good, and we connect with our community to do it together.
I love it. I honestly, this interview is was completely in regards to all the other interviews that I have done, and I want to say that because it does tie into so many different, the way your background really does make a difference. It made it, and it was very benefiting into where you ladies are today. And honestly, I honestly, everything that I wanted to ask you guys touched based on, and it inspired obviously different questions, and I honestly really love how you both are showing up for the community and paving that way for the future generation so that they have the resources and have the community to fall into when they are afraid to ask for help, or where they when they don't know where to go. So with this all this information and everything that you stated, is there any, words of encouragement, or any ways that you can, kind of uplift and guide people who are listening today or who will be listening into the future on how to proceed in this world as their own individual?
I have a quote I want to share. It's a quote we shared recently, I think like in May, when we're
Mhm.
talking about Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's a quote by Layla Delia. And it's
Mhm.
the right things soothe and empower your soul, and that's how you'll know. So we've been talking about, Soultry Sisters, we're an empowerment, arts and wellness collective, and we focus on soul care and community. And if anyone is wanting to start their healing journey, if anyone is um, wanting to find some relief because they're feeling stressed, alone, or
Mhm.
down, I want everyone to know that they know what they need. They just have to allow your body, your mind, your spirit to tell you. And then you're doing the right thing when, again, the right thing soothe and empower your soul. And that's how
Mhm.
you'll know you're doing the right thing. That's how you'll know you're going on the right path. That's how you'll know you're around the right people. We talk
Mhm.
about community, we talk about finding your like minded individuals. And so, just we want to encourage folks to know, like, to lean into that intuition, to listen to themselves, because a lot of times young folks, if we're talking about the future generation, we moved around a lot, and we always was looking for a sense of belonging. And for
Mhm.
me, speaking for myself, Alyssa, I felt a sense of belonging whenever I was dancing, whenever I was doing a form of art practice. And so, if people are wanting to find their group or find something that brings them joy, just know that to try different things until it feels right. You don't have to just be subscribed to whatever, social media told you or your friend told you. We talk about how soul care is defined by you, and I'll let Tony expand on that. But I just wanted to say, like, it's all about people honoring themselves, and
Mhm.
they'll know the right way to go.
Yes, that was so beautifully put,
It
Alyssa.
was.
Like you should have went last to close it out first. Everything she said, but also what I would add um, to what Alyssa just shared was, yeah, I feel like as I got older, I realized when I was younger, I had internally felt these things and known these things of like what it was to be well or how I can take care of myself. But because of society and conditioning, then I had unlearned that and then, lived a life of like stress, anxiety, these different things, right? But through my own healing journey, I was like, oh, when I was younger, I knew I needed time to myself to feel recharged, or I like to go outside to get fresh air to feel like mentally clear, right? And so it's some of those things as I'm older, I'm realizing, oh, when I was younger, I knew that. So definitely what Alyssa shared of like just honing in on, what feels good to you. When you think of soul care, yeah, for us, we really just ask ourselves each day, honestly, is like, what can I do today to make myself feel good, to take
Mhm.
care of myself, to nurture my mind, body, soul? And through those answers, it may change every day, and that's okay. But to really just honor yourself and to, your family, society, different things might influence you. But at the end of the day, you will still know that deep down,
Mhm.
and it's okay, like, to give yourself grace. I would also say that to, like, especially younger folks listening, that it's okay to not have it all figured out. Like, you might be listening and be like, "Oh my god, like, they have this whole collective, like, how did they do this?" We did not know it would end up being like this. We just had an idea. We started, and then we give ourselves grace through this process. And we just, it's the endurance is why we're still here. It's not like that fast initial like sprint. It's we're here for the long haul. So it's like how to sustain ourselves is also what I would say is important to like find the ways that you can sustain. So, like I said, it might not be a sprint, it might be a marathon of getting to wherever you want to be. But to if you're taking care of yourself along the way, things will eventually flow and turn out how they should.
Yes, thank you both for just closing out so beautifully. Honestly, is if I was a listener, which I kind of am because I was listening to everything, I was like, damn, they got it figured out. They know what they're doing. Like, what am I doing? You know, I'm just like, you know what, Mila? No, this is a process, and like you said, this is a journey. It's not a destination.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to make it. Once we make it to one stop, like there's a whole other pathway, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much for taking time out of your day to bless us with your words, to bless us with your experiences and your stories. It's really going to move someone one day, and it's already moving people today, you know. So much, ladies, and I truly appreciate you so much. I really do.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for
for having
having us.
us.
Sisters for real. You both said at the same
Yeah.
time.
No, honestly, so like a fun fact is like we're 5 years apart, but honestly, people think we're twins and we kind of feel like twins sometimes because
Yeah.
we be saying the same thing, we be thinking the same things. I know where her things are around the house. We have like a twin telepathy, yeah, so that is funny.
I low key thought you both were twins. Well, now that makes
Oh,
sense.
Yeah, yeah. Fun fact, we are not twins. Yeah, people do assume that, but that's funny. We take it though. We appreciate it. It's a
we
compliment
love
for
it.
sure.
It
Yeah, it
is.
is
I would say
definitely a
it's like that's
compliment.
a huge compliment because you
Yeah.
both, like, it's just similar identities, very similar. But what
Mhm.
separates you is your own uniqueness and your versatilities, and
Mhm.
it's very appreciated. And again, thank you, ladies, again so much, and good luck on your show, your performance tonight. I know
Thank
you don't need it, but it's
you.
gonna go amazing.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, and we have a bunch more about us. Like we have like a blog, we have YouTube, all those things. So anyone joining as well, just go to our website, soultrysisters.com, and you'll find all of that good stuff there because there's so many other things we didn't get to talk about today, but stay connected with us for sure. Thank you.
Definitely. I'm going to have them send over all their handles, all their links and resources, and I will be putting it in the episode. So please click their bio, and you'll be able to get all the information that they wanted to list or have listed throughout the episode. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye.